Yes, so I put together this as a topic for an AI class because a lot of times, just talking to agents in the market center is they're kind of wondering how to level up their listing presentation, not necessarily just making it prettier or making it stand out, but really differentiate themselves from other agents because everyone has a listing presentation, and a lot of times people will go to Canva or Etsy and kind of download a template, and that's great. It makes it a whole lot easier than having to build it from scratch, but we really want to stand out beyond that because if there are thousands of agents out there and potential sellers are interviewing a few agents or they've just been down this road before so they know kind of what to expect from a listing presentation, we want to make sure that you guys kind of go a step above that, you stand out, make you more of the expert and kind of have that authority so that at the end of the day, it's kind of a no-brainer. These are the agents that I should be working with. So that is why I wanted to put this together, and then also incorporating AI into it because it doesn't need to be some monumental task for you to build your listing presentation or update it for each listing. And so using AI really makes it easier, faster, but also at a higher quality. So kind of the 5 ways that I was looking at to add on to your listing presentation and bring in new content. Starting off with that first one, the buyer persona profile. This is my favorite. As I was just saying, I come from a marketing background, and one thing that pretty much every one of my professors had told me at one point is that if you're marketing to everybody, you're marketing to no one. Mm-hmm. And it applies to listings and houses as well. If you're just putting out a social media post out there, or if it's just on MLS, you're kind of casting a wide net, but you're really not calling anybody. It's not standing out to anybody because it's so generic. And so I put this one together, and it's my favorite because it's really diving into how can you segment the market to make sure that your listing is hitting the right people. That second one there, this really just dives into going beyond pulling comps. So you can put together a CMA, you can pull comps and kind of come up with a price. Your potential sellers may disagree with it because that is just what they do. They think that they know better than the agent. Mm-hmm. But I like this one because it is just giving you more authority, and instead of just saying, here are what other things are going for, that's why this is what your house should be, you can really tell a story about the neighborhood in general. So you're saying, look at beyond the house, look into the area. These are all the factors that go into your pricing strategy. This is why it's my recommendation. So it just gives you a little bit more of facts and authority behind your recommendation, so hopefully there'll be less pushback if they don't agree on the price. The objection advantage, even the best real estate agents will get an objection that, you can stumble on your words or you're just not prepared for, and, it can throw you off your game. This is just an easy one that I threw in because everyone needs practice, and AI is a great practice partner, so I'm sure you guys have kind of dived into that a little bit just because I know you're both on the tech side of things, but that was one that I wanted to hit on as well. And then those bottom 2, the digital positioning strategy and the concierge plan, that is just really highlighting that you are an all-service agent. You're going to be holding their hand the entire time, which I'm sure your listing presentations do cover because that is a huge component of being an agent. But these are just ways to further present visuals to them and really highlight, this is what we do, here's my plan for your house if you go with me, which is why you should go with me. So those are kind of the 5 that we are going to dive into. And the way I thought it would be easiest to do it is, first of all, I'll give you guys these. But I put together some prompts for each of these and to kind of get us to the results for your presentation. And just a second, obviously you don't want to have that in written form because that's a lot to type, but if you want to scan the QR code, you can get it digitally as well. It's just on a Google Doc, so you can make a copy and customize it, save it to your own drive. It'll be at the end as well.
Got it.
Perfect. So as we go through this, I thought it would be easiest to kind of talk about what the kind of addition is, why it's important, what strengths you gain from it, but then also show you what it looks like in action because we want to see what AI can do for us. So for my example today, I'm going to be pulling everything from just this listing in Corcoran. It's a luxury kind of entertainment house property. So as we go through and do the prompts, this is what it's going to be pulling from, the type of listing. It will look different obviously per listing, but just as a reference, that's where it is pulling its information from. So going into this first one, like I said, this is my favorite just because I think it can really distinguish you from other real estate agents. And so, like I said, if you're marketing to everyone, you're marketing to no one. And so looking at that first AI prompt there on that handout, this is really going to be asking either Chat, Gemini, Claude, whatever platform you want to use, to identify based on the listing who's most likely going to be interested in this property. Because if you have a 5-bedroom house, a newly married couple aren't going to be your clients on that. And so you don't want to start pushing stuff kind of in that realm, because it's not going to be as impactful as if you start targeting areas with prominent school districts or stuff like that. So if you look at the prompt, we're going to be asking Chat to not only tell us who is going to be the most likely buyer for this property, but we're going to dive into their mindset. So looking at the what behind it. What matters to these potential buyers, because that's how we're going to position our house. If they care a lot about privacy, that's what we're going to emphasize. If they care a lot about being close to different restaurants and kind of the hubs and kind of in the main town of things, that's what we're going to emphasize. We can do a reel highlighting the local restaurants around the listing. And so knowing who your client is and what they're interested in, that really gives you a leg up, because it tells you how to market the property. And so you're just going to get better results for your clients. And then kind of that final piece there, this is the visual that's really going to stick with your potential seller in the listing appointment, is you're going to be able to tell them, based on this information that I know, this is my plan to market your house. And a lot of agents will just say, yes, we're going to put it on social media, it's going to go viral, or we're going to put on MLS, it'll be on Zillow, all of those. That's not enough, because people can, sellers are smart. They can look that up for themselves. They know how to navigate Zillow, MLS, all that. And so if you can come to them with an actual put together plan, it's going to make you stand out so much more compared to the people who are just saying, yeah, we're going to put it on social media, we'll do a little highlight reel. This is going to be a lot more credible. So what this looks like in action is if you open up Chat, and I'm just using Chat, you will see a little bit later, or actually, if you guys weren't aware, about a month ago, Chat actually updated its version that it uses, and it is a lot better at creating visuals. Before, it was actually the worst, and I wouldn't trust any photo made from it, because, you know, people would have extra noses or extra toes. And so I'm just using this for example today, because I have been messing around with its image creation a bit more, and it is a lot more reliable than it once was, especially when it comes to creating infographics and stuff like that. But so what this looks like creating your marketing persona is I have the MLS input sheet here. Obviously, if the listing is super outdated, hasn't been sold in 20 years, oh perfect. You may have to get creative and just do more of a description, type it up on your own. But if it's more recent and it works well, I would just use the input sheet, because it's easier and it's comprehensive.
The MLS input sheet?
Yep.
Yeah.
If
it hasn't been published yet, then you're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah, so if it's a listing that was sold a few years ago, the odds are most of that information is still going to be accurate. So you can use it, but if it's 20 plus years ago, you're not going to want to use that information, so you'll have to kind of manually input that as well, just based on what you know. But I always start by uploading that to my thread here, and then I just pasted that first prompt into the text box, and it is essentially saying, you are a luxury real estate marketing strategist helping me prepare for a listing presentation. Identify the 3 most likely buyer personas from this property. And we're saying for each of the personas, these are the things we want it to include. So we're going to name it, we're going to tell me why it's a fit, explain that to me. It's going to dive into the marketing, so what type of content are they going to want to see, how are we going to reach the buyer, what's kind of their main hook when they see this house, how can we get them in. And so we're just asking it to identify these 8 things, and then it's going to give us kind of a full outlook on what these buyers are and how we can reach them. So as you can see, for the sample that I am using, the first buyer persona it named was the executive entertainer. And it is because this is a luxury property, 3 acres, it obviously has a pool, trampolines, all of these entertainment amenities. And so this is going to be for the people who are looking for a luxury lifestyle that is built for entertainment, right? They want to have people over, host parties, and so this is going to be their house. One of the things that I really like about this is the what they care about most, because as we talked about, it's not just knowing who, it's knowing the why and the what behind it. And so if we know that they care about hosting and entertaining effortlessly, when we're putting together our marketing plan, we can create content that relates directly to this. So we can create a carousel on Instagram saying, here are all the amenities, look at how easy it is to operate all of these things. With the push of a button, you can turn on the fountains or open the pool, stuff like that. And so really knowing what they care about is how we can pique their interest in our content. Another thing that I like about this is just explaining all of the information that we asked for it. But like I said, content ideas for this persona. So we can now tailor the social media content we're making to really pique the attention of the people that we know are going to be interested in this house. And we probably talked about it in a few AI classes prior to this, but with the current algorithm on social media, it's not just people who are following you or people who are tagged that see the content. It's anybody who's interested in that type of content, your stuff gets put in their feed. So if we know if someone is out there looking at different real estate accounts and they're kind of diving into the what can my backyard look like, or let me look up pool design, stuff like that. If you're tailoring your content saying, wow, look at this really good pool that we have, it's going to put your content into their feed. So you're reaching people who are your audience, which is exactly what we want. So knowing what type of content to create for that persona is key in actually reaching them with today's algorithm. But essentially it just goes through, it's giving us our 3 personas. So we have a move-up family seeking long-term lifestyle. It gives us kind of that same information, why it's a fit. And then finally, it's the relocating executive. So they want to, they're relocating to the Twin Cities. They want privacy, but still close to everything. This is going to be the house for them. So just reading this is very valuable because it gives you knowledge going into the buyer or into the listing presentation, and you're coming off as more credible. However, it doesn't stop there, because it's one thing for you to know all this information and articulate it to your sellers. It's another thing to actually show them, right? Visuals are so much more powerful. People just learn better that way. And so what we can do is actually take all of this information, and I just said, please generate a photo, kind of putting together an infographic of what all of this information entails. So when we do that, it can create an infographic for us, breaking up everything. So as you can see, we have our 3 personas here. It's formatted like a slide, so you can put it into your buyer or your listing presentation and show this to your potential clients, being like, this is based on your property. Here are going to be our 3 target markets. Not only do we know who they are, we know what they're going to be looking for, and also how we can reach them. So you're not just coming to them saying, yes, I will be able to find you a buyer for this property. You're going to be able to say, this is exactly how I plan to do it, which just gives you so much more authority in there, and it's going to stand out compared to all of the other agents that they would talk to or anything that they have seen before. Any questions on that at all?
Did chat create that?
It did. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to use chat for all of this, because normally I would go to Gemini for visuals, but chat, I was like, okay, it's pretty good with their new update. So
I'm seeing a lot of busyness on screens right now in social media. Like, everybody's plugging in these images with a lot of content.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming.
It is. And so I like this. I just wanted to put this on here for reference, saying this is everything.
Oh, no, I get it. Yeah.
If it were me personally doing a listing presentation, I would probably cut out the where we will reach them. Like, I would tell chat to make this a little less busy, because too many words on the screen, the eyes just glaze over.
Yeah.
And they read it and they're not listening to you then.
Exactly. Yep. So this is a good example. This was just the first iteration that it gave me, which is fantastic. It's better than a lot. However, if you want to take the time to say, you know what, actually, I don't want to include that. Let's minimize it again. Maybe take out the photo, make it less busy. Just stuff like that. You can really get what you would like. But I agree. A lot of things are overstimulating, and it's a lot. Yes. And so, and yeah, obviously it depends on who your potential seller is. If they are on the older side and they're not impressed by the social media, or they don't need to know that, you're not going to want to have a heavy focus on that. And so you can really tell any type of AI, say, also, here are the potential sellers. This is how we can impress them. So this is kind of what, do you have questions?
I do.
Yeah.
You catch your breath.
My question is, do you know how, is there a way to like have a template? Like, let's say you really, really liked this.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to have this like as a template so that the next time the next house, it just comes up
You
with
can
the
plug
data?
in?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be, I can look into it more for a more streamlined way. The way that I would do it is I would take this picture, put it in Canva, and Canva has a feature that got released a month or two ago called layers, and it essentially takes your image and breaks it apart bit by bit. So because now the image is broken up, you can go in and type, instead of relocating executive, you can type whatever it is that you want, and you can edit the house details. Instead of 4,000 square feet, we're going to do 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a little time consuming on the front end, just because you would have to get everything formatted the way that you like it. But you can, once you have it, you're done. Another way that I would do it is through, oh my gosh, why am I blanking with it? Gamma.
Mm-hmm.
So with Gamma, you can have it create a interactable PDF form where, or even just a slideshow, and that it would be a true template.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would definitely use Gamma over Canva, but Canva has a little more autonomy with the design.
Yeah, even with the ability to the layers, then you're manually inputting stuff in there.
Yeah, we're looking for automation.
Yep.
I wonder if you could name this something and then put into your agent gem or your GPT to say put it in the ideal buyer's format.
Yep. So you could start a new chat, make it kind of your listing presentation hub, whatever you want to call it. And yes, you could also just take this and say, here's the example. The house that we're doing is actually this square feet, this and this. Or if the previous MLS, you know that is pretty much accurate, you can just upload that as well and say, take this information from this sheet, swap it out in this format.
Mm-hmm.
That would be kind of the automated way that you could go about that as well.
Yeah. A little bit off topic, but kind of on that topic is I was playing with some stuff and trying to figure out how do you, so like if you have a listing, here's all the assets that you produce for the listing.
Yep.
And then how do you create those assets, create those templates basically, and so the next MLS number or the next, you just enter it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just populates, spits out, the new information in the old format. I was trying, and it just playing with it for a little bit, and it wasn't coming out the way that but I was thinking of, I wasn't even thinking about this. This is kind of awesome to show to the sellers, but I was thinking of like social posts and flyers and postcards. And
when you say it wasn't coming out the way that you wanted it, what wasn't coming out? The visuals?
Yeah, the visuals. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, because in my own chat and whatnot, I do have the system set up where I do a newsletter for the Edina TL, so I upload the newsletter and say, give me the content package, and it turns it into an Instagram post, LinkedIn post, YouTube video, like that type of stuff. And so I love the automation. It's so easy just to be able to get your kind of all of your assets. The only thing is I haven't had a chance to make it into actual graphics, and so I would see that's where the variance would be.
Sure.
But is it just not the clean kind of image that you want, or it's distorted, or?
Well, it was trying to create it each time. So I put in the information, I put in the address, and then it was trying to create the documents, and I would ask it to do something different. Can you do this? And then it would try to recreate it again. So that's where if we had a template like this and it's just new information, put it, it's all like custom values, sort of thing. I don't know.
I think you're definitely on the right track where if you have a template, that would be the easiest way to go about it, because with any AI system, if it creates an image for you, if there's one thing that you want to tweak, it's pretty difficult, no matter how advanced the system is, to get it to change just that. It'll change that, but then something else, and you're like, wait, I didn't even mention that. Why did you switch that up?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something like this, where it's more of an infographic, less of just like an Instagram post, it would be easier to change out the information because it's text, not image generating.
Mhm.
So I would be curious. I bet you could create a kind of a template workflow
Mhm.
based on that.
Well, maybe we can compare some notes on what
Yeah.
with what you have with your newsletter and what I was trying to do with, and maybe we can come up with something that, because if you, that would be pretty powerful, I think, if you could literally just put in the new
Yeah,
listing.
absolutely.
And then, bam, it spits out all of these, assets.
Custom values.
Huh?
Custom values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or even taking the MLS input form.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to, I don't like having to retype everything over and over.
No, that is what
Right.
AI is to solve. So yes, I fully agree.
Like, yeah, just give me one form to put everything in, and just take that and run with it.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. But yeah, so this is kind of the initial, here's what our target personas are gonna be. I took it again a step further and said, okay, now that we know what our personas are, create a marketing strategy for these people. And so this is just a different way to kind of represent that graphic where I was making it more of a marketing plan instead of just here's the personas. So obviously you have their personas up at the top there, but this is something, if you're working with older clients who maybe don't care about social media, that's not what they want, this wouldn't be for them. But if you're talking to people who are into that, you can say, here's how we're going to reach them. This is specifically the channels that we're going to do. Here are the type of reels, content, whatever that I'm going to make. And then this is what we're going to focus on. It's just a good visual to show them, here, I have an actual plan in place. I have ideas already. I'm not just going to post it on social media. We're taking such a strategic way on this. It just sets you apart from other people in terms of marketing, because that is such a vague term. It could mean anything. And it could just go over people's head. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever, market it. But if you can point to specifics of this is how I'm going to do it, it just brings a whole lot more credibility to you guys. And with AI, this took 2 minutes to create. It's just uploading it and then saying, oh yeah, take that and put it into a visual. So I like this one a little bit better, kind of going back to what you were saying. It's less crowded. Yes, there's still words on there, but it's in more of a table, which the eyes
So,
naturally follow.
I guess I have one question.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to just systematize everything that we do. And so if we're creating these marketing strategies, it needs to be consistent across everyone that we do so that we're not reinventing it for every single client.
Yeah.
And so we really need to, do you have the capacity to do all of these items that are on there?
What I would do for that, because yes, you want everything to kind of be consistent across the board and tailored to your brand, what I would do is set up a channel just initially and feed it, and I'm sure you already have it, but like your brand package. So here's the logos, here are the headshots that we want you to use, these are the colors, everything moving forward, keep it in this kind of brand. And so then, even if the graphics vary a little bit, it's all gonna stay unique to you guys. And so that will provide consistency across your clients. Is that kind of what you were thinking, or is it more of the,
marketing channels, if I'm looking up there, I'm going Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email campaigns, luxury home portals, and high-end print. That's a lot of behind the scenes for all of those items. And I feel that if I was to offer them at where I am right now, I'm over promising and under delivering.
Yeah.
Because I don't have all that set up. And I don't know that I'm going to be offering the same for a luxury buyer as I am for a downsizer.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
And so knowing the right segment and having it for each segment of what we're gonna do, I think that breaks down also into.
Yeah. And so how I would incorporate that is you have the prompts there. At the beginning of it, I would just add in 1 or 2 sentences saying, and you can set it up where it's interchangeable, like make it more of a template. Set it up where it's saying the sellers of this property are downsizers, are, it's a luxury property, stuff like that. So you can kind of set the scene more, because you're right, if it's just a downsizing property or, you know, a $300,000 property, you're not going to do the print publication. You're not going to do the same thing that you would for a 1.2 property.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you, in the prompt, kind of set the stage a little before, saying, this is what it is, they're downsizing, here's the estimated price, it tailored all of the suggestions around that, it'll give you a different output, because it'll know, okay, we're not going to put the same amount of money into all of the strategies there.
Yeah, so that would, you're talking about, segmenting according to like the price points.
Yeah. Yep.
And maybe even, you know, commission levels, like we could do this is what we do at this
Exactly.
point.
Right.
This
Yes.
is what we do
Yeah,
at that
this
price.
is, I mean, if you would like me to tackle all these things,
The
you're gonna-
commission level is, yeah.
to do them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what I would do for that case is have my prompt for a luxury property or a commission that I'm gonna make between X and Y, or different levels. So then it will generate the standard channels. Like, it's going to create the appropriate content where you're not going to go overwhelming on a property that's 300,000. Yeah, that's what I would do, is kind of split it up based on commission makes probably the most sense, but you could also do the price of the house, that type of stuff, the time required.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it look like, in terms of systemizing, how my brain kind of works is splitting it up into different projects, essentially. So I would have a project named listing presentation collateral, and then in each of the chats it would be, this is the one for XYZ commission, this is for this commission level. That's kind of how my brain works at it. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we talked about segmenting
Yeah,
that way
We have,
in the past.
well, we use Gemini, I use Gemini,
Mhm.
and so I've got different gems set up for different.
Exactly, yeah. So that's kind of how I would break it down, because then you know when you're in this, it's already geared for luxury properties, or it's already geared for first-time home buyers. So you know that the type of content that it produces matches that level of commission and effort that you are going to.
And then you set them up, and then you're like, no, I don't want you to do all of that. No, I told them to do it. Oh.
What I was gonna say too, is you think about, so even like the marketing channels, like the Instagram and Facebook, and so, I don't know, we have YouTube, but we don't really,
We don't use it.
but Google business page, we haven't really done Google ads, but we could. So, all of those things, as a next step, we could have, AI create the Instagram posts.
Yep.
And the Facebook posts and the email campaigns and you know, and stuff like that, we'd have it actually created.
Yeah, and just from my own experience, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Google, they're very similar in the content. Like, you're not recreating the wheel for each post. Obviously, Instagram and Facebook, you can do the exact same thing because they are tied. So, but even for your YouTube, if you were posting a reel on Instagram, post it on YouTube Shorts as well. It can be the exact same thing, and you're still reaching a wider audience. You guys get the credit for, oh my gosh, yeah, we're reaching out into this channel too. Reality, it was 30 extra seconds of work for you. And so a lot of them, it's easy to kind of cross that, post without adding a ton of work.
Cross-pollinate.
There you go. There you go, yes. And the same thing applies for Google. So if you guys are familiar with Google posting, you can just do your listing photos. You can do if you do have a video tour, you can do that as well. So you're just using the content you have, and you're not having to kind of think of different captions, different ways to present it. It can all be the same across the board.
We're missing out, because we've got all the videos of all of our properties, and we're not putting it out there where it
Well,
could be.
When you say Google posting, you're talking about like on your business page?
Yep, so on your business page, you have the posts, and you can either set up as post as just a standalone post, or it can be an event. So you can do an open house and label that as an event in Google, or you can just do a post and it's highlighting the house, tour photos, video, whatever you want to do. And so you're highlighting all of the listings. that's great because they're there forever. And so if someone looks up your business page, they can see, oh my gosh, wow, they did a lot of properties, or they can see your inventory, essentially, all of the people that you've helped. Or they can also see, oh, they do a lot of work in Buffalo. That's great because that's where I live, or I'm near there, whatever. But I kind of like encouraging agents to do that because it just creates a trail for you. They can see, it builds your credibility. And Google loves it because they're like, oh, these people are really active on their business page. We're going to make them more visible.
We're, all the downsizing posts, or not all of them, but a lot of them are going to the business page.
I know,
Mhm.
yeah. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's set up,
but
yeah.
putting
and changed out.
listings, videos and stuff out there, that isn't something that we had thought about, so.
No, because I mean, we're paying for the photographer to do videos.
Yeah, and so if you guys have the videos,
Yeah, we
might
have
as
the
well use
videos.
them. Like,
Why
put
not?
them as many places as you can. And so, and even the odds are of people looking at them directly from your business page are low, just because people don't naturally do that.
So how do
But
they?
Google takes it and puts it in front of people.
Do you need to have keywords or something?
Just similar to what you do for normal Instagram posts. You don't work in hashtags on Google, but if you put the address.
Keywords or whatever.
Yep.
Needs, right?
That's exactly it. So whatever the property features are, like what you want to advertise, make those your keywords and incorporate them in there. And then it's up to you if you want to list the specific address. That's up to you. Or if you just want to say single family home in Buffalo. That's what you can do as well, because then when people are looking that up, Google sees, oh, here's this little Buffalo post that they did. I'm going to put that in their feed. And so it just makes you more visible.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like I said, it builds a track record. So people can see all of your posts and they're like, okay, these guys have a lot of listings under their belts. Obviously they have experience. I'll meet with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you guys are already ahead of the game doing your posts on your Google as well, what you're doing on social media. But if you add listings as there, that kind of unlocks a new element for you.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I mean, even the videos that we've had, we can push those out there. With the
And
address and things.
I think it's also an underutilized tool for open houses as well. Obviously, put it in MLS because that's how people know. But to the person just Googling, if you post that you have an event this weekend, it's an open house between X, Y, and Z time, here's the address, it puts it out there for people. And it automatically removes it after the event is over as well, so you don't have to worry about going and deleting it and everything. It just auto does that for you. But yeah, so I encourage you, do the listings, do the open houses. That's definitely an underutilized tool for Google.
We should put our seminars out there too. I didn't think about that.
Is it better, in your opinion, to do events on Google? How do you do a reservation link?
Like schedule a time to meet with me type, or what do you mean a reservation?
Like an open house, okay?
Yeah.
So, or an event. Let's just say that, because we host seminars all the time.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
RSVP type.
Right, yeah, because
Yeah.
we do Eventbrite, but
Yep.
we don't get traction on Eventbrite.
When you do that, when you're setting up an event post on Google, there is an option to add a button. And so the button can be sign up now, learn more, sign up for the newsletter, whatever it is. And when they hit the button, whatever link that you put in there, it takes them to that page.
So that could be like an Eventbrite.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yes, so when I do brokerage events, the link will take them to the Eventbrite where they can get the rest of the information, because Google, you don't want to put like paragraphs into your post. But for the Eventbrite, they can learn more, sign up, get all the details. But yes, so on the events, there is an opportunity to add a button. And so when they click on it, that's how they can register and everything. So it's like the call to action.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other question too. So, I recall at one of the other trainings, of your trainings that I was at, I had asked, I think we were doing listing descriptions or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had asked about, are you thinking about the person that potentially would be buying the house? And there was a compliancy, not from you, but a compliancy type of response to that. So my question is, I know, I'm just kind of looking at these, the second one, move up family, et cetera.
Yep.
Is I guess how, we probably wouldn't want to, but,
Yeah, and so you do have to be mindful of that, because you're exactly right, with the Fair Housing Act, like, obviously you have to be in compliance with that.
Yeah.
And so, this
But
doesn't.
This is personal, this is out there doing marketing, it's not MLS. It's
Yeah.
not meeting that compliance element, we can put whatever we want to out there.
Exactly, and this, you're not hiding this property from certain groups of people by targeting other people. You're just putting the emphasis. So if you're posting on Instagram, everybody can see that. That's public information. You're not specifically staying away from certain groups of people. You're just emphasizing others. And you're not doing it based on any characteristics of the people. It's based on what drives them, I guess. Like, it's not discriminating based on what the Fair Housing Act says. It's more of just how you can reach them. So, and it's based on, obviously, with people who have kids, you're not going to reach them at corporate networking events, but that's where you will reach a relocating executive. And so you're not posting content that isn't discouraging people from looking at this property, and at the end of the day, all of it is public, so you're not hiding it from anyone, if that makes sense.
Yep.
What I would stay away from, and obviously, is putting people in, so you could say remove the family, because then that's kind of showing, oh, we're targeting these people specifically. That could be misconstrued to, oh, that means you don't want other families.
Yep.
So as long as you stay away from saying, here's your ideal buyer, and it's a picture of a family, then you're fine, because that would give the wrong impression. But if you kind of stay away from that, you're just strategically marketing it by targeting people, not by eliminating others.
yes, I 100% agree.
Yeah, yes, but that's a great question, and I got asked that in Edina as well, and it's like, no one wants to run into that type of trouble, like, that's the last thing you want to do, but it's just because you're targeting people doesn't mean you're neglecting others. Yeah, great question. Okay, so, looking at another way is, becoming the.
Yes, again, you have another thing.
Yeah. Well, before we moved on, I just wanted we got the radar test.
Random. Thank you.
Just popped in your head, love it. Okay, so the second way that you can incorporate AI into your listing presentations is by leveling up how you become the local neighborhood economist. So obviously, everyone has a portion of this in their listing presentation, whether it's you doing a CMA, recommending a price, just kind of pulling comps, all of that. This is a different variation of it, so you're not just saying, here are nearby comps, this is why we're pricing your house like this. It gives it more of a story, so you're not just focusing on the pricing of the houses, you're looking at the city in general, right? Because that has an impact on the housing or impact on the pricing. And if you're able to present that to your clients, you're gonna have more credibility as you do your price, because I'm sure you guys have experienced pushback on price before. And so it's not fun, and the last thing you wanna do is battle with your clients. So this is a way to kind of present more information to them where they understand, like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. So if you look at the second prompt there on the screen, we are going to do the same thing, copy and paste that prompt, and it's saying analyze the same property information, so we know that we're looking at the same input sheet, and analyze it and its surrounding area to identify the key neighborhood, lifestyle, and market trends that would strengthen the value story of this home. So it's saying, give me what's going on around it. We're not just looking at the house, we're looking at what's going on in the neighborhoods. Is there new development? Are they putting in more commercial buildings? Are they building a grocery store or a road? Like, what's going on, and how is that going to impact the home, not just now, but in the future? So we're asking it to provide neighborhood value drivers, buyer appeal trends, future-oriented market insights, lifestyle narrative, and then kind of a summary of everything that you'll present to your sellers. So just like before, it's obviously going to give you all of this information in written form. What I like about it is that it also cites its sources. So here, this property is in Corcoran, so it's referencing the 2040 comprehensive plan of the city of Corcoran. It links it for you so you can do that. Obviously, you don't just want to give your clients information that you can't back up, so being able to pull the sources of that is huge. But it's just really talking about the entire area and stuff that you may or may not know. If you are a agent specializing in the Elk River real estate market, you know that like the back of your hand. You probably don't need this information for that because you already know it. However, if you have a client that reaches out to you and they're like, oh, my home is in Burnsville, that may not be your specialty. You can still approach that listing presentation with the level of knowledge like an expert using this, even though it's not your main area. So I know, especially, obviously you guys aren't new agents, but for newer agents it can be intimidating, like, oh, I don't even know anything, they're going to know that. With this,
It's challenging for me because I'm helping families with their parents moving, and they're like, can you help my parents in wherever?
Absolutely, that adds a whole new level to that, where they may be around here, that's how they know you, but the parents are in who knows where.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is a great way, that's a perfect example of you being able to be the expert on that neighborhood without it being your main specialty. And so AI can search everywhere, pull all the information for you, and then you can put it together. So not only do we know what the current value drivers are and what's going on, we're saying how does this impact the buyers, which in turn, how's that going to impact the house that you're about to sell, what's going to come down the road as this happens, and then a lifestyle narrative. So as people are going to be looking at this house, what's going to go through their minds. So it's kind of the same thing. This is all great information to know. You're going to tell this to your potential sellers. They're going to love it, but you want to present a visual. And so one thing, and this is going to get messy just because I had to chop it since it was a 8.5 by 11, but this is a flyer that you can keep either in the listing itself, you can give it in your listing packet, however you want to do it, but it's just another infographic where you're highlighting all this information in a digestible way to your clients. Obviously, there are a lot of words on here, so that's why I recommend like giving it to them as a flyer or putting it in the house so people can kind of see the highlights. But as you can see, it just makes it in a pretty way of saying, here's everything that's going on in the area. We have what's coming down the road here in terms of the school district, the parks that are coming, what road changes they're going to make, the planned growth, just kind of why this house is unique, why you want to buy it right now. And then here are the kind of summary of what we're going to be talking to the potential buyers about. But this is just a way for, like I said, you don't need to be an expert in every town to come off as an expert in every town. Like that is what AI is here for, is to help you get all of that information without you committing to hours of looking up everything. And also, if you have a client and you say, this is my price, this is going to be your research that backs that up. Obviously, you have your comps and everything, but this is just kind of another layer to give you that boost of credibility and also just come off as more prepared than other agents as well, which goes a lot when they're picking between agents to list their house with. Any questions on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that get produced based on your number 6 in your prompt?
So it got produced based on everything. So yes, essentially this was the summary where we're wanting to, that was more of the visual element of it, but it combines all of the 1 through 5 as well. Mm-hmm. So yes, 6 is the visual element on it.
But 6 is the thing that it says, okay, I'm producing a listed presentation slide, meaning a visual like that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. And then I actually added also, please create an infographic. And so that's why it did a 8.5 by 11 as well.
Is that
on here?
That was a separate prompt as I was trying to build out the slides for this.
Okay, that was, because I'm kind of following along
yeah.
On our deal, and it didn't produce. I mean, it kicked out the text for it, but it didn't produce a visual.
So then after that, say if you're looking specifically for a slide deck, say a PowerPoint slide, an infographic in a PowerPoint slide format, highlighting this information.
Yeah. Okay.
I left off kind of the dimensions and stuff that you do need to get specific on with how you want it formatted, whether you want landscape, horizontal, are you doing a post, are we doing whatever, everything has to be formatted differently. Can't make it easy.
I'm even having problems with Canva. It just, they do like A3 and it's like way too big, and I'm like,
Yeah,
no, just give me an 8.5 by 11 standard.
thank you. More and more, I find myself screenshotting what I want to fit something in and just going to chat and saying, what dimension should my Canva design be for this, because it's not fitting. And it's really good about giving you the specific numbers, but I'm like, why would I know that? Why can't Canva just, yeah.
I'm creating a document. How hard is it to write just a document? Just give me
I am right there with you. They need to,
give me a sheet. Because then you try to realign or, you know, recalibrate or whatever, and then
everything moves.
it's messed. And I'm like, all right, forget it. Start over. I don't have time for this.
Yes, gotta be specific with the dimensions. It's,
Right.
yeah. But yes, so
I like that. I was just gonna say, I really like that.
thank you. It's like I said, it's a good way where you obviously have your niche areas, like you are the specialty in that. However, this allows you to go anywhere. We'll go anywhere you can without putting in hours and hours of work. Like it can summarize everything for you so you understand what's going on in a quick way, and you can have a visual, but it's, yeah, because you can be the expert in a lot of cities, but not all the cities. And so it just allows you to, especially in your situation where you may know the parents, but the grandparents are downsizing and they're off who knows where.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just a good way to become the neighborhood expert. Awesome.
Families don't know what's going on in their parents, so it's like, okay,
Yeah.
here's what's happening.
They don't know what's happening, but I bet they'll have an opinion on the price. And so
Yeah.
this, yep. And so this is a great way for you to loop them in on what's going on, and then that only boosts your credibility, which is amazing. And that is just the best, because not only will they work with you, they'll refer you, all the things.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, any other questions on this before we move on?
No, we're only on number 2 and we're almost there, so.
The last ones go kind of quickly. Those are the heaviest ones. Yeah.
Yes, Lord, yeah.
So for the digital positioning strategy, if either of you watched the recording or were at my AI class last month, we focused on GAEO, which is essentially optimizing your online presence for AI, like increasing your searchability. So if someone says, who's the best realtor in Elk River, you appear. This is kind of a different version of that, but specifically for your listing. So I'm not even an agent, but if I go on social media, if I'm scrolling for 15 seconds, I'll see at least 5 real estate posts. The online world is so crowded, and so this is a way that you can come to your clients and say, we're gonna cut through that noise, this is how we're gonna get your property seen. And so AI can help you essentially optimize your listing to get seen, because there's a lot out there. You wanna be the one getting seen over other people.
By the right people.
Exactly. Not only seen, but seen by the right people. And so AI can help you. This is as simple as writing stronger listing descriptions, which I know we've covered before, but essentially, if it writes an optimized listing description for you, it's incorporating those key searchable words. That's going to get you pulled more than other listings. You can create hooks, headlines, any sort of Instagram or social media captions, run it through AI to optimize it, because that is AI knows what AI likes. And so when people are using it, it will be able to then recommend your listing or pull that type of stuff. So essentially, we want to make sure that your stuff is getting seen. And if you're able to tell your future clients that, that goes a long way. And they're like, okay, because everyone can look up Zillow, everyone can look up properties and stuff. This is a way for you to say, we're going to make sure that the right people are looking it up and that it's actually getting seen. And so if you look at prompt number 3 there, we're going to, we are going to ask it, we're going to tell it you're a real estate brand strategist and marketing expert, analyze the information, and create a modern digital marketing positioning strategy for this listing. So this is essentially just bringing in all of the content that you are going to use for your listing. So we're going to have it right up.
Which one
That's
is that?
prompt 4.
Oh, I'm sorry, is it out of order?
Yeah, it is. It's prompt 4.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yep, number 4.
That's the digital positioning strategy one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so we're going to be essentially having AI write your content for you, write any copy that you're using, because it's going to do it in a way that is optimized for searchability. So you can see we're asking it for marketing hooks, your positioning statement, video content ideas, what we're doing for social media, kind of what are the emotional drivers for buyers. So if you put that in there, here are the results that it's going to give you, and it's just stuff that you're going to be seeing keywords that you can incorporate into your listing, whether it be in your open house write-ups, any notes that you put in there. Obviously you have the listing description, but just any type of marketing that you do for this house, you can say that we are using keywords that are optimized to increase the amount of people who have eyes on your property, because obviously the more eyes on the property, the better. So this is just like here's writing a listing description and video content ideas for what people are searching for. And not only that, it's algorithm friendly, so it's going to be incorporating itself with the trends, and that's what is going to get put into people's feed. But yeah, so this is just really a spin-off of what we did last month, but instead of optimizing you, we're optimizing your listing. And that goes a long way with the buyers because, or I'm sorry, the sellers, because they know that you know what you're doing. And most people haven't heard of this, but they kind of get the general idea and it makes sense to them. And so this is just a way for you to stand out from other agents. And going back to what this looks like, this is going to be the most crowded slide, so I wouldn't put this in the listing presentation itself. I would break this down into smaller pieces to show them. I put it all together just because it's easier for us here to look at it for one slide, but when you're actually putting it together for your sellers, it would look differently. But essentially, it's just another form of showing that I'm not just going to put it out there. We have an actual plan. This is how we're going to do it. So anything from showing this is the content we're making. Here are some keywords in the listing description that we know perform well and will hit the potential buyers that we want. It's just you calling out the specific detail and thought that you're putting into marketing their listing to show that you want to get as many eyes on it as possible. And obviously they know that, but because that's how you sell the house, but this is a way for you to show them the specifics of it. And that's what really wows them, is kind of pulling back the curtains of behind the scenes. Because obviously you do a lot behind the scenes, and so we want to bring that to the front to show them, here's all the work that we're putting in. Yeah, like I said, wouldn't put this in front of them. I would break it down into different sections or turn it into more of broken up bullet points, stuff like that. But this is kind of all of the content of it together. Any questions on that? It's kind of a combination of everything, so it's pretty simple, but it's one that you definitely don't want to look over. All right, so the fourth one here, and I guess on the sheet it is number 5, is the concierge plan. So for you guys, when you're in a listing presentation, do you have like a schedule that you create, a calendar, or like what do you currently present for like potential sellers saying, here's how we're going to hold your hand from the beginning to the end?
Timeline.
A timeline?
Yeah, we write in dates.
Yep.
And stuff. Yeah, and then also I actually have a physical calendar, you know, that we have to write down. Here's where we are today, and
yep,
connect the dots.
Love it. So when you present that to them, obviously when you're in the listing presentation, they haven't signed with you yet. It's all kind of theoretical.
Oh, they are signed.
They are?
By the time that
I love it.
They sign, I get their hand ready with the agency relationships, and then they're ready to go.
Good. That makes your life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, we talk. I start off with price point more so, and just talk about what it is to lead up to it, and then they're like, okay, let's go. There's my communication with them is a little bit different than just about marketing, because it's what's happening.
Exactly. You have a very specific situation, and that's
we talk different things, and it's not about the house, it's about their home. It's about their life.
Yeah.
So we talk about taxes and legal, and I mean there's a lot more other things that
for sure. And like you said, at the end of the day, they don't care that you're going to make their house visible on social media. They care that you're going to take care of their parents or their family members and get the best for them.
Just even people who aren't, it's not their parents, it's them as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
first time home buyers, they know what to expect. So
yeah, it's a lot more on the emotional side of things. Like you're using different language.
It's not, it's a holistic approach, it's not just property, I talk insurance, I talk everything else.
Yeah, we talked about that
And
before.
it's everything that goes into it beyond just a home.
Got it. Yeah, well, with your timelines and calendars and everything, obviously you guys are doing that right now, which is amazing. I encourage agents to do that because a lot of them don't. And I'm like, this is an easy way for you to grab their attention, is creating some sort of visual that they can see, because it becomes real at that point. And that's what we want, is then already envisioning selling their house with you and what that would look like. So for the concierge plan, this is just using AI to create a smoother strategic path right from then and there to when the house is sold. And so here are some things that the AI can cover and kind of create content with you for. So we're going to talk about, like, if they want to invest money into doing things, which upgrades are going to get the highest ROI. What type of vendor support do you have? It's not just you alone, you actually have a team. And when people can see that, obviously that makes a difference in their confidence levels and everything. And so this is just everything that you can present to them to make it real and say, like, no, here's our timeline. And if you put that into AI, have it create a visual for you using prompt 5 there, this is ultimately what that end result's gonna look like. I stitched this together to fit on one slide, but you can see it is broken up. But it is creating it in a visual component. So the one that I like is the ROI-based recommendations. It breaks it up. High priority, nice to have, and likely not worth the investment. And obviously it depends on the house and the money that they want to put into it and that type of stuff, but this is a good, easy visual to use to show them, like, hey, I know you're really obsessed with this little thing right now. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter as much as these other things. And so it's just a good talking point. Obviously, you guys have your calendar that you use, the handwritten, but you can put together more of a timeline and customize that information in there as well. And then I also like the vendor and service, because it shows that you guys have a team behind you. It's not just you, and that boosts confidence and everything. But this is just a good way to create more visual components behind what you already do, which is what we need the potential sellers to see. Any questions about that one at all?
Is that pretty much static regardless of what listing you have? I mean, that's not dependent upon the listing that you have, right?
What's going to be static is this is the vendor recommendations, the seller communication plans, like the titles and stuff are static.
Mm-hmm.
The actual information in it is based on the listing that I have been using as an example. So obviously the listing that I used had a big backyard, entertainment, that type of stuff, which is why it recommended landscaping, fresh mulch, or updating where was the other one I saw? Getting the sports and recreation areas cleaned. So that is directly correlated to the property that I had uploaded. It will change because obviously if you don't have a sport court, it's not going to tell you to get it cleaned.
Right.
But based on the prompt sets these 8 boxes. The listing information that you provide it feeds what goes inside of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So the one thing,
If you haven't been to the property and you're pulling off an old one, and let's say they did a lot of rehab, this would be pulled in with a 24-hour before phone call confirming the appointment.
exactly.
Tell me a little bit about your property, and then you could add that into it.
Yep, exactly. So that's kind of the not disclaimer that I give, but just kind of the hang up there is you want to make sure that you're working with accurate information. And so this was a listing that sold 2 years ago, where if you're working with one that sold 20 years ago, that's going to look different. But
Even
just
2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. You never know.
I mean, there could be hail damage, and there could be all kinds of different stuff.
And when you are on the phone confirming the appointment, just like you said, that's a great time to screen it. And you can say, hey, I know you just sold it 2 years ago. However, have you put in any major upgrades or anything crazy happened any renovations since you purchased it? Obviously, that's very needed when the property is even older since it was sold.
And they're excited. Oh, we did this, and we did this, and we did.
Yeah, and also you'll encounter people who are like, oh, I actually don't know, like we need to start thinking about that. And so prompting them to start thinking about that makes your life easier down the road too. You're not scrambling for information. But yes, to answer your question, all of this is dynamic, this is static.
Okay.
Got it. And I guess just the last thing that I would leave with you guys, this one is pretty simple, but the objection advantage practicing. Have you guys used the chatting with AI feature on either of them, on any Gemini AI? It depends. Some people like it, some people don't. It's just a way to have real conversations with people, so you get to practice, because what you think in your head is you're like handling objections is a lot different than when it comes to actually speaking it. And so I just wanted to highlight this for people who may not know about it. But essentially what you would do is take your MLS info sheet or whatever you know about the property, put it into chat, Gemini, whatever, and say, this is the listing, the presentation I'm going to go on. What are some objections? And that actually is, since I'm out of order, prompt 3 on the sheet. But it's essentially saying, here are the areas that I want to focus on. We're going to talk about different areas like pricing objections, and another agent priced it higher, market timing concerns, all of the things that people usually hit on. And they're going to come up with questions and objections for you. And if you use the speaking feature in real life, it's going to be more like a voice, a conversation. It's not just typing whatever, which is super nice because it's live.
So I do that in the car.
Yeah.
Well, actually I do. I write blogs and stuff in the car.
I love that. And yeah, and with the prompt there,
Best friend.
It's my travel companion.
I love it. Gotta have one. I love that Siri is connected to chat now, because as I'm driving, I no longer get the, I can't answer that while you're driving. I say, well, ask chat, and then it gives me the full answer. It's great. But yeah.
I open Gemini and it's, you get a whole dialogue.
Yeah.
Your whole entire trip.
I love it.
Actually, my brain switches really fast, and he's like, how did you get from here to here? Because my brain switches so fast, I've actually put on Gemini, I'm like, I want you to capture this and create a diary for me of all my thoughts. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about this now. Oh, okay, well, that's cool.
As you're
Why are you
thinking
thinking
about
about that? Oh, and I'm like, well, I'm thinking about that because of this. Well, oh, you know what? And then I'm actually capturing all of my thought processes.
No, that's fun to see, because I'm the same way, where you're like, 5 minutes ago I was talking about something completely different. How am I here now? But if you can look back, you can see the trail of thought.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just kind of the last thing with this prompt is you're not just asking it to, it's not just giving you general feedback. It's going to be telling you, oh, if they say another agent said they could price it higher, you may take it as oh, they're pitting you against each other as competition, which they may, but it also could be, what are they feeling? They just want to maximize their property value. Knowing that, how can you change the conversation to adjust that concern? Just stuff like that. So, like I said, for younger agents especially, who aren't as experienced, this is a great tool, because it's easy to become discouraged when someone pushes back against you, but this kind of helps you understand the thought process behind it, and also give you live feedback as you are having those conversations. Got it. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. You will scan the code, so you don't need that again. But any questions before we wrap up, or want to recap anything? Yeah, and just kind of all.
What I do have, where, like, all of these prompts and stuff like that, do you have them all like stored someplace, or like, is there a repository or
Yes.
something?
So I can share it with you, but I do have a Google Drive of all of my AI classes that I've been teaching. So in each file, it'll have the recording of the class, the slides that I used, any type of handout information that I have. And so you can go in and refer to things, or if you missed a class, go in and pull it. But that is kind of where I have everything living for agents to grab.
Okay.
But yeah, I can share that with you.
Yeah, cool. We might want to put that in the hub or training or something, incorporate that in.
Yes, and I actually did make a note of that yesterday, because Tanya and I have talked about it before, like where the resources can go.
Right.
Obviously, the recordings are already on the Otsego meetings, but it was beyond that. Instead of just shooting people an email.
People don't know to go to
I know.
Otsego meetings.
I know, yeah. Which is what the hub is going to solve.
And we're not getting emails anymore. Here's the recording for the,
Oh, really?
Nope, we don't get any emails after meetings.
So we actually have to show up.
I don't know, I don't know.
Crazy.
Look at it, and I don't know the value of what was in it, so.
Yeah, you're not just going to watch a random recording not knowing what it is.
Oh, I missed the TV meeting. I wonder if there's anything else in there. Oh, I just wasted an hour. I'm like,
Yep, exactly. Got it. But yeah, I will share that with you, but then we can put it on the hub for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for coming, and just kind of all of this is a starting point for you, since you have access to the prompts and everything. Definitely,